Hello and welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. Today's episode is going to be quite fun because I get to use my ephemera from the Bob Baker Marionette Theater in LA. We were able to go to the Bob Baker Marionette Theater Halloween show not too long ago, and when we got there, I was so surprised and excited because the team had put together an ephemera pack. I'm showing you a lot of it here in this shot. And so I get to create this wonderful page and document our time there, combined it with some photos, and I'm just so excited because some of these items are so vintage and so magical, and I love the Bob Baker Marionette Theater, so this is going to be a really fun page. So let's get started. There's a whole folder here. This is a really sweet little note they had left on the file upon entering the theater. And there's just everything you can imagine. It's like vintage heaven. And then I have some photos from the day. As you know, my dear friend Diego is actually a puppeteer at the theater. That's Roddy, the puppet, the very first puppet in the first scene that he was the puppeteer for. And these are some vintage book pages. When I was putting together vintage book page packs, I came across these pages, and they're Pinocchio and different marionette puppets. So I thought that might be fun to use in this layout. And I'm just showing you some of the ephemera that they gave me. I'm not going to use all of it in this layout. In fact, some of it I have earmarked for my December dailies and my personal Christmas journal, but I am going to use a good amount of it. And I also printed out some of our tickets from the day that we visited. So there's just so much to choose from. I'm a little overwhelmed, but I am so excited because I'm just ready to dive in and make a really bright, nostalgic, and cute page. These are some of the smaller pieces. They also gave me these really cute little stickers of some of their marionette puppets that an artist had created for them. And then one of my favorite pieces are these stickers, but this little Polaroid of Bobo the Clown. How cute is that? So there's also a patch, and I'm just going to get started. So the first piece that I'm going to work with is this very large piece of wrapping paper. I actually got this on York Street, which is the street that the Bob Baker Marionette Theater is on. And it was wrapping paper that I had wrapped a present for Lizzie, I believe, in. So I had saved the leftovers, and I knew I wanted to use it on my Bob Baker page just because I love the colors and I think it complemented the layout and the ephemera. So I'm going to use PVA glue to glue down that piece of wrapping paper. I use PVA glue mainly because it's going to stick faster and cover a better area easier. So I could use a glue stick, but the PVA glue was right there within reach. So I just stuck the wrapping paper on, and I realized it kind of went up and down past the pages quite a bit. So I'm just trimming the top and bottom. It's not really necessary. I guess I could have folded it down, but I just went ahead and trimmed it, and I already love the way that looks. The first thing I really fell in love with when I opened that folder from Bob Baker, the Bob Baker team, was this large piece of advertising because I knew I wanted to put a photograph right in that square piece. So I just trimmed off that excess, and I'm going to use that same PVA glue, and it's going to be the entire other side of the journal layout. I'm so in love with that. It's so iconic. It's just so beautiful. So I'm so excited, and I'm going to add a photo right there in that blank white space. And again, it was a little bit taller than the book and longer, so I'm just going to trim that excess right off the bottom. And I think I'm just going to fold over the rest of it because there's no real need to trim it. I don't really love trimming things because I feel like it looks too perfect. And I don't really like that look isn't like pleasing to my eye, like a perfect straight edge. So a lot of times I'll just tear or fold. And then I add a little bit of washi tape because I added too much glue, and so that way it won't stick to the other side. So now I'm going to add that photograph. This is a photo of my kiddos and Diego. And I'm also going to sort of go through these pictures of the vintage book pages. Well, they're not pictures of, they're actual vintage book pages because I really want to use one, but I find really quickly that there just isn't enough space. My original thought was I was just going to do one big layout, but as you can see, as the process continues, I actually end up doing I flip the page and do two layouts. I was just that inspired by the ephemera. So really what you're watching now is me just trying to figure out where all the ephemera is going to go. I know I wanted to add one of our tickets onto this page. And the reason I wanted to do that was I knew this wasn't going to be a heavy writing journal layout. So by adding that ticket, a lot of the journaling is told just through the ticket. And what I mean by that is the date is on there, the time is on there, the name of the show is on there, our seats are on there. So that ticket alone is going to tell a lot of my journaling story without me having to write every little part of it. So it wasn't that long ago that somebody kind of, I didn't think it was in a really nice way, but they commented on my TikTok saying, I just don't understand your journals. There's no room for writing. And my only response to that is, it's not really anything to understand. I think journaling is a very broad term. And in my opinion, it isn't just writing. Journaling is telling a story, telling your story. And so you can tell it really in any creative way you want to. So this particular layout, while there won't be tons of writing journaling, there is tons of storytelling. And by storytelling, I mean photographs, tickets, pictures, experiences. My experience are on the page through the items that I've saved or that were given. So anyway, I believe pieces tell a story without even having to use words. So that's what I'm doing. And I am going to use that ticket up there because I love it. And I love this, what is it? It's a program. It's a vintage program from the theater. And so what I'm going to do, because I don't want it to be closed shut because I want to keep all the information inside, is I'm going to make a pocket out of it. So I put tape on 3 sides, and then I'm going to put it directly onto the page. And now not only will it open up and I keep all that information inside, it also created a pocket. So I'm going to stick some goodies in there, some more ephemera and more photos, so that there are more memories on the page. And they may not be the focal point, but they're there. And it's an interactive quality. And so people who come and want to look at the page will be able to pull out interesting things and learn a little bit more about our experience. So I'm also going to add some staples down there, mainly just to make sure that, because I use double stick tape, I want to make sure it's on there nice and secure. So the next thing I'm going to do is add some washi tape right down the center of the layout. And I'm going to do that because I have so many pieces kind of going right into the middle that nothing will lift. I do this on most of my pages, so y'all are used to this. And I think right about here is where I realize, yeah, I'm definitely going to need a whole nother layout. There was just so many things, and I was having so much fun creating. I don't know if you all do that when you're journaling. Sometimes you just realize, I don't want this to end. I'm having so much fun creating. There are, ideas just coming out of my mind, and I really want to make them come to life. So that's kind of what was happening here. There were so many different little pieces and elements, and I just had ideas kind of flowing. And so I knew pretty much right about here, I'm definitely going to do 2 layouts because there are just so many pieces I want to use. This was a main, very important piece of ephemera I wanted to get onto the page, this Polaroid of Bobo the Clown, because how special is that? It's a real Polaroid. It was a piece of ephemera that jumped out at me when I first opened the packet that they gave me. So I wanted that to be focal and right on the front. So I added washi tape onto the top and I put it onto the page. And then I add another little smaller piece of washi tape inside to make sure it's nice and secure. And now it is a flip up, so it doesn't really cover that really neat piece of vintage ephemera, but it's still a focus on the layout. And then I'm going to use one of these little labels from Your Creative Studio, the last subscription box I received. I'm using them all over this layout actually. And I'm just going to put it right on there so I could put the puppet's name. And I'm really happy with how this layout is looking so far. If you purchased one of my ephemera packs in my last drop, you received some of these gold corners. I love them. I've used them a lot in this journal. I think it's because it's much more scrapbooky. And so I'm just going to put them right on this photo because I think it kind of makes the picture pop. And I just like the way gold corners look. So now I'm just seeing what else I want to add onto this layout. I'm going to put this postcard into that pocket with that cute little selfie of us. And I have this really sweet patch they gave me. And I believe that's Bobo on there too, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to add some PVA glue right onto the back. And I'm going to stick it right into the corner here. I love that this adds such texture to the page. To me, it makes pages really interesting when you mix up material and fabric with paper, with vellum. I love the way that looks. So I'm also going to add a staple to make sure that patch doesn't come off. And then I'm also going to staple this really cute little sticker up to the top of the program. And the reason I'm not taking the back off the sticker and just sticking it onto the page is because I kind of want it to poke up off the top. So if I took the back off, it would stick. So I just stapled it right to the top, and I'm really happy with the way that looks. And I also realized I had a cute little pocket there, unbeknownst to me, so I'm going to add something, but probably not till later in the process. So now I flip the page and I have a whole nother blank canvas to start with. And I know I want to use some of the larger vintage ephemera, but I don't want to use that the first piece because there's stuff on the back. So I'm actually going to save that for a different layout where I can feature both sides of it. So I use this one, and I'm going to actually have it cover both sides of the page. And I'm also going to be able to use one of those storybook images that I love so much because, like I said, Diego's a puppeteer, and Stromboli, even though he was the villain, was a puppeteer. And I'm not saying Diego's a villain, but it just made sense because, they're puppeteers. And so I actually liked this image better because it had 3 little marionettes and Stromboli. So I'm going to actually trim down that book page because I don't need all that white space around it. And then I think I'm going to put that picture of Diego onto this really cute little piece of Bob Baker ephemera. And then I'll make a flip out. So I feel like I'm really able to make everything work on this page, even though a lot of the ephemera is very big. So I'm going to use double stick tape, and I'm just going to stick that photo right onto that piece of ephemera. And then I'm going to trim it down so it fits. So really what I'm doing now is just prepping all of these pieces to fit. And now that the photo is on that little piece of ephemera, I'm also going to trim down that book page, and then I'll start gluing these bigger pieces down onto the page so I have a good base to work with as I add fold outs and flip outs and photographs and all that good stuff. So this piece of ephemera was quite thin. It's just a really old piece of paper. So I was able to just use a glue stick. And then I used that little scraper. I think it's meant to be like a Cricut scraper. I don't know. I got it on Amazon. But I find that it really helps the glue stick. When I use a glue stick, it helps really make those pages adhere much nicer. So I use that little scraper to make sure all those pages are really down and nice and secure on the page, because now I'll use washi tape and add that photograph as a flip out. I'm using that same really thick, pretty floral washi tape. I use that I used it in my last Bob Baker layout. I'm using it in this one too because I feel like it's very reminiscent of their floors there. I don't know if you've ever been to the Bob Baker Theater, if you've seen it, but they have green floors with big white daisies on them, and they're so cute. It's so nostalgic. The theater is a vintage dream come true. So if you are ever in LA, I highly recommend trying to make time to go to the theater, because going to the theater alone is quite an experience. It's just a piece of history, and you'll have so much fun, and the entertainment is top notch. So I add this really cute postcard to the top. I just staple it on. And now I'm going to go through and add these labels from Your Creative Studio because I love them. And like I said, this isn't going to be a heavy writing page, so I thought it would be fun to just add these labels anywhere I wanted to label puppets' names or talk about the ephemera or talk about a little bit about our experience. So I just use those labels throughout the journal layouts. And I also remembered I had this really cute trim, so I wanted to just staple that to the edge because it reminded me so much of Pinocchio. And so I did that, and now I'm just adding finishing touches. I'm adding some more stickers, I'm adding some more labels, And right at the end, I remembered that it was important to me to use this really sweet message that the Bob Baker team left me on that file that they put all the ephemera in. So I just slip it right into that little pocket inside the vintage brochure. And I add a little label so that I could write about how special this was to me and how lucky I felt. And I just slip it right into that little pocket, right into that brochure. It was the perfect little spot. So now I'm just adding those labels. I love them so, so much. I kind of put them all over the layout. And then I will do a minimal amount of journaling off camera to fill in all those labels. And that little piece of open space there, I'm going to do a little bit extra journaling as well. I also remember that they included some really cute, like a sheet of clown stickers. And so I know I wanted to add those throughout the page as well. And I'm not sure if you can tell as I pull them out right now to stick on the layout, but they're actually kind of sparkly too. So I think they look so pretty on the page. So I actually just grabbed them and pretty much stuck them all over the layout because they are so, so, so cute, and they're all different little clown faces. And I love clowns. I know some people have issues with clowns. I just think they're so cute. So let me know in the comments below if you're a clown person or not. My husband hates clowns. I love them. I think they're adorable. I don't know. Is that an unpopular opinion? I'm not sure. So here's my completed layout. I am so happy. I don't know if you could hear it in my voice, but there's something about journaling with really nostalgic pieces of ephemera like these pieces from the Bob Baker Theater that just bring me absolute joy. So I'm so grateful to the team at Bob Baker's for giving me all this beautiful, wonderful little pieces of your history. I had so much fun journaling with it. My experience at the theater is always wonderful. The puppeteers amaze me with their talent, and I feel so lucky to live so close that I can go so often, and I cannot wait to go for the Christmas shows. I think I'm actually going to go to a couple, so if you are local to LA, do not miss going to their theater. They do have some holiday shows coming, and they also have a new book available for pre-order. So head over to their website. I've linked it down below. I am definitely going to purchase one, and so I would encourage you to support this amazing business as well. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you have a really wonderful week, and I hope that you were inspired. I'll see you next time, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.